OK, so first thing we're going to do is to write the equation as I'm just going to plot the information. So my foci are at 1, -4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -4. Now, again, if you guys remember the graph, I'm not going to plot another graph up there. But if you guys remember that ellipse graph that we drew, or you guys could even actually, I still have the graphs up here. Can you find the center? If you have two foci, can you identify where the center is? Yeah. The center is going to be directly in the middle, right? Again, directly in the middle. So because we know that the distance c is from the center to the foci. So that's equal on both sides. So if we have these 2 points, which we'll call our foci, so I'll just label them so I'm not like making crazy mistakes or anything. So now I find the distance is 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously, if the distance from each foci is 4, the distance from the foci to the center is going to be 2. So that's going to be my center. Now, I know that my center is going to be a part of my formula. So I am going to write this out. Center is going to be at 1, 2, 3, comma, -4. OK? So now the next thing that we're going to be looking at is, or the main important thing we want to identify is we still need to find our a and our b. But before we can do that, when you're looking at this, if you guys remember on a parabola, the main important thing was looking at is if the graph opens up, down, or left or right. Correct? Is everybody OK? So the same thing with with an ellipse. We want to make sure if the graph is going to have a major axis that's horizontal, or if it's going to have a major axis that is vertical. So one thing I want you guys to notice when you guys are looking at this parabola, or sorry, the ellipse, if you guys notice that the horizontal transformation, the major axis is horizontal. What lies on the horizontal major axis? Your foci, your center, and your vertices. Does everybody agree with that? So therefore, this is your major axis. Because your foci and your center and your vertices are always lie on your major axis. That's really, really important for you guys to understand your major axis. Because not only do my vertices lie on this, but my minor axis is going to be perpendicular. And that's where my co-vertices are going to lie. But we don't really need to know our co-vertices. We're going to, yeah, well, that's going to be our b. So that will be helpful for us to identify what b is. And so therefore, we know this. But the main important thing from really doing this is understanding our formula. So remember, when it's a horizontal ellipse, a is under x squared. So we have x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Does everybody see why I'm using this formula and not the other formula? No? Well, somebody said no. Why? Yeah. Well, because that's the formula that goes when you have a horizontal. A is always under the x. Here's the formula when we have a vertical.
Oh,
OK?
I had the things down. Like the major axis, if it's horizontal, it's that equation.
OK. Hi, Monty.
This isn't really a pass. They didn't really give me a pass.
That's OK. You can just go that way. I'll take it. So the main important thing is we have our value of c, which you guys can see from the center to the foci is 2. So we know the value of c is equal to 2. Now, the other thing they gave us is the major axis endpoints. That's going to be our value of a. Right? Now, remember, these endpoints are going to be at 0, -4. So that's our vertice. And then 6, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. OK? So we know that the distance from the center to the foci is 2. And the distance from the center to the vertice is going to be 1, 2, 3. So c is equal to 3. And then this distance is, for a, is 3. Does everybody see why a is equal to 3? Because remember, there's three basic variables we have. We have a, b, and c. A represents the distance from the center to the vertice. Since this is the major axis, that's why those are the vertices. C represents the distance from the center to the foci, which is 2. So again, this information was given to us. And B represents the distance from the center to the covertice, which would be on the minor axis. So we need to figure out what B is. So the only thing that I showed you guys, or I didn't really show you, but we had it on our had it on the computer, was that the relationship between A and B is c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So now all we need to do is find b squared. So I find c, which is 2, equals a squared, which is 3 squared, minus b squared. So therefore, that's 4 equals 9 equals negative b squared. Oops, actually, we don't need to solve it. So 5 equals b squared. Does everybody follow me? Now, all I need to do to write my formula is I just need to find h, I need to find k, I need to find a, and I need to find b. So my final equation, x, you can see here is my h and my k. So x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared. And then now I need to divide by a squared. Well, I don't know what a squared is, but I have a. So a is 3, so their a squared is going to be 9. And then I didn't solve this for b. I just left it as b squared, which is 5. And then it's equal to 1. Did you ever see that? Anybody have any questions? OK. Libby,